on now. If you guys want to take a moment really quickly to ground yourself just for a moment before we get started. Synergy says, the music though, I can't concentrate. I know it's off now, actually. It went off by itself. I want to shuffle some cards for our group because I feel called to. The last 2 days, I've been getting a lot of information and a lot of messages, and I wanted to share them. A lot of them apply to my personal life, but I realized that sometimes the things that come to me in my personal life, they apply to the group and to the whole. Oh, God, I know. See, High Priestess, every time. I don't hate this. I don't hate any cards. But whenever I have, I'm talking about myself or talking about things that I need to know, the High Priestess always jumps out. So, and I do love her, but she's sneaky when she jumps out. But, so lately, my dreams, the signs and the symbols that have been standing out to me are things that I can't ignore. And I wanted to share them with you guys because I feel like it's important that you hear it. Even though right now the planets are really positive, the messages that that I've been getting are so in alignment. So we need to talk about that. So I just want to give everyone a second to think about what's something that stands out into their mind at this moment. I am the Secretary of State says, why do you look worried? Because I'm not worried actually, but I feel lately that, I feel like there's a need for more boundaries and more protection. And I'm not saying this to make anybody go into a space of hypervigilance or overprotection, because that's not the way to do it. You should never walk into anything with fear. And the other thing is that it's the vibe that I've been getting lately. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into the message before I get started. But talking about Astro Chat. Thank you guys so much for joining. But right now I wanted to share this message with you guys that I've been getting for the last 2 days that I wanted to share now, that I feel like is going to be really important as we move into the week. And number one, it's something that I couldn't ignore. Number two, I don't want to promote fear, because that's never the way to do it. In fact, when I do receive these messages, it's the images themselves are kind of fear-inducing if I knew to be afraid or if I need to be terrified, scared or anything like that. But I know better than to be scared, and I know better than to encourage you guys to be scared. So no, I'm not nervous. But the other day, I've been really aware of people's energy, and some people stand out to me more than others. And I'm saying this in my personal life, but I also feel I wouldn't share bits of my life with you guys if it didn't apply. Outside of the fact that I'm pretty private, my messages that come to me don't necessarily apply to you guys. And if I share a message that's for me specifically, then it's not good to share it with you guys because you apply it to your life. But the angels or my guides or whatever is saying no, Jess, this is for you. So if I shared my advice that I received from my angels and my guides and I shared it with you guys, then that could make you fall off of your path, or that could give the wrong advice for you guys. So, but this one in particular, I was just I just feel like I have to share it. So there's certain people and certain things that we need to be more aware of what it is that we're sharing our energy and our space with. And we need to be far more protective. And I think that this actually started showing up when the Emperor cards started showing up for us about last week. He kept on showing up again and again and again. And I saw him and I saw boundaries. And I saw creating a space of distance. And it's not rude, but it's forward and it's very direct. And to allow, the thing is that sometimes we don't realize that someone or something is infringing on our boundary or infringing into our space because we're blissfully ignorant or we're blissfully completely unaware. And meanwhile, that person's thoughts, that person's vision, that person's intent, that person's like way of perceiving you and what it is that you're doing, or their intent for you, is working against you. And the people, sometimes it's people that you love, sometimes it's people that you respect, but you have to listen to that voice. You have to listen to that feeling. And the other day, my boyfriend and I, we went for a walk, and I was like having like vibes anyways before that, and we went for this walk for like peace and for, you know, just to connect with nature and stuff like that. And there was this hawk, this red hawk that was up in the trees, and I saw it. And I believe in animal totems, I believe in animal symbolism. I don't believe in overlooking into things too much, but when this hawk showed up and I was looking at him and he was looking at me, I said, okay, this is more, there's a spirit with this animal. I don't know if you guys are going to believe this or not, but there's a spirit within this animal, and there's a message here that I need to be aware of. And the hawk was making it very clear that we needed to be very keen, we needed to be aware, we needed to have vision, we needed to have focus. And at any moment, when we lose our vision, and you know what it was? It was, I needed to be not hyper vigilant, but I needed to see. And I needed to like not look and with the intent of finding something, but I needed to like be open to seeing something that I might not like. And that may surprise me, or may shock me, or may disappoint me, or may be a threat. And that was the biggest thing. I needed to be super open to seeing and not liking what it was that I was seeing. And with that, there needs to be a cut. And the other thing too is that the image that I get is like lightning, like just super hardcore radar. Ah! Oh my God, shut up. Oh my God. I didn't even freaking realize this guy was, shut up. See, sometimes. All right, yo. So funny. I'm not making this up. You guys. Look, this card is sitting here. I'm sorry. Like, so weird. I could literally cry, but I'm not going to. Okay, so these are the cards that I pulled. I'm sorry. You guys are probably like, what is going on? But yeah, so I was walking and the hawk showed up. This card is here, and it makes too much sense. I swear to you guys, like it blows me away too. I swear. I'm not making this shit up. Oh my God, like I didn't even know I didn't see that. See what I'm saying? Wow, I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare anybody too. Anyways, so the hawk was one of the animals that came up. That's so freaking crazy. I totally hear you. Yeah, so the hawk was one of the animals that showed up, and then a day later, I had a dream, and it was, when I saw the hawk, I said, okay, I see you. You know, I see you, I hear you. Obviously, you know, this message was, so this card that it is that I'm shuffling from is from Flowers from the Dead. I love her deck. It's an oracle deck. It doesn't come with any interpretations, and that's what I love about it the most. But for those of you guys that are just joining in, you're probably like, what the hell is going on here? Normally, this is Astro Chat. Thank you so much for joining in. And I am going to go into the details, but I wanted to share this intuitive message with you guys first and foremost before I got started. So thank you so much for being patient. And also, you know, not a lot of people do these types of things on Instagram for good reason, for very good reason. I myself like to share these messages because I am fearless when it comes to putting myself out there for others, because I feel called to do it. So that's why I'm sharing this message now. So even though I'm talking about myself, it was very clear to me that this wasn't just applied to me, but something that I needed to share with the group. And I'm here doing that. So the first thing too is that I realized that I wanted to shuffle the cards. I'm still blown away as we speak. Even though I do this for a living and I work with angels all the time, my history with angels and guides goes way back. They shock me a lot of times too. And before I started this live chat, I said, okay, I wanted to listen to this song. I wanted to ground myself. I wanted to spend some time staying hydrated. That's where I'm at right now. I wanted to pull from 2 different card decks, the Rider-Waite and the Oracle deck. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Some cards were jumping out, and then this card jumped out, which was exactly what it is that I was talking about, the messages that it is that I've been receiving. And I have 2 other ones here. If you do want to look at the card deck, again, it's Flowers from the Dead that it is that I'm pulling from today. Will you save the live? My phone is about to die at 3%. Yes, yes, yes. So I will be saving this video. Anyways, so I'm walking down this path, and I see the hawk up in the trees, and I did put it on my Instagram live, and I, received that message. For those of you guys that are just tuning in now, then you're gonna have to catch the live on the repeat. And then I see it, and I say, okay, angels, I hear you, I see you. I know within that space that when I'm receiving messages, it's not for me to go into active crazy mode trying to figure out what everything means and how all the messages like apply and that type of stuff. I believe, and my experience has shown, that if you try really hard to figure out and interpret messages within that moment, you're doing yourself a disservice. A lot of times you need to be aware. For example, D. Shanna is saying, what does it mean to see 444? Flame Child 1111 is trying to answer that. So I do have a video about symbols and numbers and that type of thing, and I speak very strongly against trying to overly interpret these numbers and interpret signs, and to take some steps back and to ask the angels, what is it that you're trying to communicate with me? Because when you open the door and you allow them and give them the space to come in and give you a message, they will give you a message. D Legendary says, was it a black hawk? No, it wasn't. It was a red-tailed hawk, which I remember specifically because the red tail was very bright. So I see the hawk in a tree, and and with my boyfriend, and the last thing I want to do is like scare him or anything like that. So I just keep all my messages to myself, keep on walking. That night I go into prayer and go into meditation, and I say, all right, angels, what is it that you're trying to talk to me? What is it that you're trying to communicate with me? And then later on, I don't like to stay in a space of meditation for too long. I like to distance myself always. And I go to my bed and I fall asleep, and that night I have a dream that we are in that same park. And this bear, we're just walking. It's me, my boyfriend, our babies. So we have a bulldog, and we have Franklin, who's a long-haired Chihuahua. We're just walking, and this bear comes out of nowhere, and huge black bear, and just starts charging me and snarling at me. And it didn't freak me out. And I know the difference between a regular dream and a prophetic dream. The regular dreams feel like regular dreams. Prophetic dreams are very, like, you wake up and there is message there for you. So I see that, and I say, and I know to myself, like, okay, I need to be aware. Within my dream, I did not feel at any point threatened. I didn't feel weakened. I did feel in a space of like strength and empowerment, but I also the message was that we needed boundaries. We needed to be aware of what it was that is not vibing with our space and with our energy, and to take it very seriously, to not take it with a grain of salt. Now, that doesn't mean that we go into overdrive and start looking for things. That's not what you should do at all, but you should definitely be more protective of your space, more protective of people who are watching you. And that's the thing, that's the biggest thing. Who is watching me? Who is watching my every move? Who is aware of what it is that I'm doing? What are their intentions? When they see me succeeding, when they see me doing bad, when they see me doing well, what is their first thought? And to create distance, to make sure that they can't see all, because that gives energy, that can give to you, that can take from you. So Sharmika says, I'm definitely an overthinker. The last thing you want to do is to not overthink. Overthinking kills everything. You just want to follow your intuition. Sometimes we overdo things, like we things that like intuition, magic, intention, we make it so difficult, and then the more difficult you make it, the more that you take away from its power. Magic, intention, visualization, intuition, personal power, they're very simple things. Watch how nature blooms and you'll see how you should be blooming. Watch how nature moves, that's how you should move, always and forever. So those are the things that jumped out. Emperor card, of course, while I was shuffling, I'm not even surprised to see this guy show up again. The other thing too is that I don't want anybody to be afraid or, again, like super hyper vigilant, but I am saying that you need to be assertive, you need to be dominant, you need to be a leader, you need to be your best advocate, you need to be your own advocate. We were saying last week, like last few weeks when Sun was moving into the sign of Aquarius, how much a lot of us are going to have to deviate from our normal ways in order to find our path. And that was something that I was seeing then. I still see that now, even as the sun is moving through the sign of Pisces. So, and that just recently happened. And we'll talk about that in a moment. The Tower card was a card that's been jumping out a lot lately. And you guys know this because I put it up on my Instagram video. On my Instagram story, so you can see that there. Cam Rena says, so would placing salt around my house be good protection? Yes, especially black salt. For some reason, the color black has been coming to me a lot lately. Oh, obviously I'm wearing all black now. But, yeah, the color, like black salt would be absolutely amazing. I do see like rings of black rocks, like stones, like smoothed over stones, almost kind of like massage stones. I think black because black absorbs, it makes sense that it's coming through. Black absorbs energy. And what I see like eyes. Like that was the thing. It's like, who's watching? Like who's watching me? Who's following my steps? Who's following my progress? And what are their intent? And by putting black up, not only is it like a cloak or veil that protects you, but it absorbs energy and it stops, like, it acts as like a force field. That's one of the reasons why witches wear black. That's one of the reasons why people do things at night, because they're under the cover. They're under the cloak of protection. Black has such a bad, like, connotation connected to it. It has such a bad stigma to it, but black is very, very protective. Black can absorb anything that you throw at it and just completely diminish that energy. So even if it's something that's negative, it can turn it into, it just absorbs it. Versus, and the same thing works with white. So it's up to you, but those are the things that it is that I get. The image that came to me last night was a black bear too, which makes sense. But I don't want to spend too much time diving into I don't want to spend too much time going into it, but that's what has been coming to me. And I'm making I watch too. Like, I know I'm very, I know I come across sometimes very high energy, very positive, very optimistic, and that is a lot of who I am. But also know that I'm very aware too. And I'm not going to make this about me, but there's always sides to people. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but there's always sides to people, and there's light and there's dark. And that dark doesn't mean bad. It means that there's like truth, realness, rawness, power, and strength. And also you see this flower. And I think that that's a lot for a lot of people, that sometimes people underestimate, or they don't acknowledge, or they think that they can get away with stuff, or they feel like, I don't know the right word, but what it is that I'm saying is to be aware of who is around you, what is around you, what it is that they're doing, what their intent is. And it's not for you to understand, but it is for you to create a boundary and protection, and to feel like you've got to snip those people out within a moment. I am the Secretary of State. Did you email me recently? This looks really familiar. Yes, you did, actually. I remember you. Okay, your message is for someone in particular. Maybe you don't know who. Just the vibe I get. I do have someone. I have very specific people that I have in mind. And it's not for me to disclose, but also it's not just me. So I don't want you guys to, be on, watch this and be like, okay, this message applies just to Jess. I really want you guys to know that I do not take my personal life or any drama, or there is no drama, but I don't take anything that is applying just to me and share it with you guys and say this is for all of us. I would never do that. It's when I feel called to share a message in general is when I share the message. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of times when my life is meditation. My life is, working with my angels and my guides. And I get messages all the time. It's not until I'm guided to share them is when I share them. Know that you see a lot, but you do not see all. Know that. So I'm not... and when it comes to the people that it is that I'm being guided to cut out on Instagram specifically, I will not share names because you might favor them. But it's not just me. I'm going to say that, okay? Okay, so Love, Peace, and Lock says, sounds like it applies to a situation I've been praying about. I spoke with my boyfriend about it today. Yeah. What are the person's intent? Says Love Monica 45. Exactly. And the other thing too, it's not for us to understand what that person's intent is. That's, I think, a mistake that a lot of people make, or a lot of spiritual, intuitive people make, is they know that there's something, they're being called and guided to do something, and then they have to try and understand why that is. It's not for you to understand. Follow the message. Follow the call. Don't try and figure it out. It's not for you to figure out. You're wasting time and energy and defeating and diminishing the angels and their power and your power. Well, you can't diminish their power, but you create distance and space between them responding to you and them moving, for you, because you're spending so time trying to figure out what's going on. You don't need to figure it out. If you have a warning sign, if you feel something's not right, if you're getting signs, if you're getting signals, if you have a feeling, if you keep on seeing the same person, and every time you see that same person, the hair on the back of your neck rises up, there's an issue. There's a problem. You don't need to know why, but you need to, you don't need to know why, you just need to know. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, Milk and Honey Baby says, I definitely haven't gotten this vibe. Hopefully I'm in the clear. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all, but I wanted you guys to be aware. Daniel Cruz says, the call for me for some reason is to hide away. And I don't IDK if it's out of fear or straight protection. It's not just, it doesn't, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to figure it out. What happens, I am Secretary of State says, what happens if you get those vibes? However, you are there to help. However, what happens if you get those vibes, however you are there to help? I think what it is that you're asking is, what happens if you get the vibe that someone is bad or someone is not good for you, but you arrive to help? Then you have to make the decision in that moment to decide, okay, maybe someone else needs to help you. For example, me, myself, I work magic for others in my shop all the time. I read cards for others all the time. I read charts for others all the time. Channeling messages, working with clients. And there's a lot of people, especially now, who are waiting or ready to work with me, and I pick and choose who it is that I'm able to work with. And if I can't work with that person, and if I can't help them, or for whatever reason I'm called not to, I won't do it. And just because you're a healer, just because you're a helper, doesn't mean that you have to heal them. It doesn't mean that you have to heal them. You're not there to heal everybody. The healer is not designed to be a tool and used and abused by the entire world. Sometimes you have to find someone else to help you. So, okay, you guys, I have to move forward because I shared my message. I do have cards here that I wanted to go into before we went into the reading further. Shut up, friend. That's my boyfriend. He's doing, making dinner and stuff like that. the cards that jumped out are the Bryce XO24 says, I'm in tears with your message today. I know. It sucks sometimes. So much. Interestingly enough, the astro chart right now, let's talk about the astro chart right now, because this is this is why you guys tuned in anyways. The astrology chart for this week is actually very stunningly gorgeous. If I could put a chapter on what it is that we're going to be seeing, I talked about soulmates last week. I talked about twin flames. I talked about soul connections and this energy and of building up, and this energy of relationships, partnerships, glamour, beauty, love, compassion, healing, money. And this is something that has been snowballing, but it really started, it almost like last week for many people, I felt that they would be received. And I was telling people, I'm like, check your inboxes. What's in your inbox? Oh my God, Thomas says, sis, I found my twin flame because I took your advice. Yo, I'm not surprised. That's so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. I love that. I love twin flames. I swear, relationship readings and love readings are my favorite to do because I am good at it. Well, I'm good at all of it, but I just vibe with people so well, and I vibe with energy, and I know, like, I can feel where people's soulmates are at. It's so weird. I'm not even kidding. Anyways, that's a topic for another conversation. I've been telling myself for the longest that I would make a video on soulmates and twin flames, and I have a lot of that other things that I'm working on. But anyways, last week, I was talking about the idea of twin flames coming together and people having karmic connections, just like that person just said. And what I saw was this like door kind of opening and the potential for people to be forced together. But I didn't see it just last week. I saw it as, you know, now and moving into the weeks to come. And the other thing that I've been seeing is with this Pisces energy. Okay, so I am getting a lot of confirmation from you guys that you do want to do soulmate and twin flame, so that's good. Okay. So when Sun is moving through the sign of now Pisces, Mercury is moving through the sign of Pisces, Venus is moving through Pisces, Neptune is moving through the sign of Pisces. Pisces gets the worst reputation of all the signs. And if you ask me, and it's because people look at it and they're like, Pisces does not live in reality. Pisces lives in a fantasy world. Pisces is dreaming all the time, idealistic, caught on drugs, stuck on alcohol, pining for love that they're never going to receive. And in some ways, that's the negative aspect of Pisces. But don't get it twisted. Every single sign has their own negative aspect, good or bad. And Pisces during this time comes with perfect timing. Yes, it's possible for the negative sides of Pisces to reveal themselves, but the thing is that if you look at the chart of the moment, and if you look at the chart that's happening right now, which is what it is that I'm looking at now, the placement of the other planets is working to ground the energy of Pisces. So, and that's something that we can't ignore. And I see that beginner astrologers, intermediate astrologers, or people who are interested in astrology and go to other blogs or don't do the research and don't have like the backup, they say immediately that Pisces is a negative thing, and that once we enter into Pisces season that we're going to get swamped, we're going to get cloudy, we're going to get lost, we feel so much, we feel so intensely. And that simply is not true. Number one, everybody's chart is so different. Number two, when you set the intent, and when you paint that picture, that is what it is that you're going to experience. Number three, you can't look at just the sun's position. I say this all the time. The chart is a lot of planets. not only is it the planets, but it's how they're being aspected. Not only is it how they're being aspected, but it's what signs that they're currently sitting in. And one blog that you read 3 years down the line that is still trending now because of SEO, like whoever wrote their blog knew how to like work SEO, like coding or whatever it is that it's called, like, but it's now like surfacing again and all over Google. That doesn't mean that that message still applies, but yet that message from 3 years ago, when Pisces may have been creating conflict and confusion, does not apply now, because the way that the planets are currently situated right now, you have to read the entire chart. And the energy of these planets balances each other out. And also, how the planets are currently with... D Legendary says, that's Leo season you're talking about. Once you enter Leo season, it could be very dangerous towards other signs. That's something everyone has to know and be aware of their surroundings. True and not true, actually. So... Leo, man, I gotta like slow my roll today. Once you enter Leo season, it could be very dangerous toward other signs. That's not true. I don't know where that information came from. Can you elaborate more on that, D Legendary? Why do you feel that way? Because that's not, I don't believe that's not true. But back to what it is that I'm talking about. When the sun is moving through the sign of Pisces, and when planets move into the sign of Pisces, and when you see the transits, you see the planets transiting, that's the planets transiting in that moment. But also, the way that they're moving aspects your personal chart totally different than it does everybody else. And everybody who studies astrology understands that every natal chart is totally different. So the way that the planets are currently moving affects people differently. And you can't say in general that... Okay, you can't say in general that Pisces, because again, the internet has this wonderful way of demonizing certain signs. The internet has this wonderful way of taking information and saying that it's true or that it's accurate, and they're misleading the masses, especially when it comes to astrology. So basically, Pisces people who are very easily influenced, are people who are looking forward to Pisces energy, or people who are watching Pisces move through the sign, watching, the planets move into the sign of Pisces, then start allowing themselves to become more susceptible to the energy of what people are saying on the blogs or on Instagram or whatever the case may be, and that's a mistake. That's truly what that is a mistake. So let me take a few steps back. So when these planets are moving into the sign of Pisces, what Pisces does connect with is healing, deep healing. It connects with compassion. It connects with love on a higher level. It connects with the imagination. It connects with vision, intuition, heightened sensitivity. These are things that are real. On the flip side, for some people, it can induce, if reality gets too heavy, or if if life gets too hard, that can be the time where we say, okay, I need to escape. I need to, hi Bubba. Well, look who's here. It's Kingy Boy. Yay. The two of you, stop it. Sorry. So Pisces needs to have a moment to escape, and needs to have the chance to get away. And for some people, if you have, let's say, a negatively aspected moon within your chart, or a negatively aspected sun, and you're susceptible to a negative thing happening, or like, let's say you're more prone to consuming alcohol, or taking medication, or taking, drugs, then yes, that's possible. But that's not Pisces that's doing it. It's your sun sign, your moon sign being triggered. So if you're looking on the internet right now, Flame Child says Pisces energy is very deep and psychic. Correct? It is. Pisces wants to dive deep, and it wants to float. So it's like these two things. It's very spiritual, it's very in tune, it's very connected. Pisces is the sign that no matter what it is that your sun sign is, whether you're a Gemini, Virgo, if you're a Libra, or a Leo, Pisces is still, the energy of Pisces is still here. And no matter what your sun sign is, you're still feeling the effects and the influence of Pisces energy. And Pisces, sunny day notice says, I feel like I've been in Pisces energy for a while now, Aquarius sun, and was knocked out for a few days around the eclipse. Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh my God. The eclipse was really powerful, but it did drain a lot of people's energy. And that's something that like we had to be prepared for and aware of. But Pisces, what it wants to do is it wants to take you to the next level. Ultimately, across the board, that is what Pisces is working to, like, as the planets move into the sign of Pisces, that's what this energy wants to do. It wants to take you to the next level. It wants to take love to the next level. It wants to take your vision to the next level. It wants you to take your, spirituality to the next level. It wants to take your life to the next level. Pisces within the chart says, what is it that is the most idealistic vision that you could possibly conceptualize when it comes to romance, when it comes to love, when it comes to spending money even, when it comes to your lifestyle, when it comes to your expression. Why all of these things? Well, because Neptune, that rules Pisces, has been sitting in Pisces for a long time and is asking you to become more intuitive, more spiritually seeking, more. It wants you to seek your truth. It wants you to find your truth. It's like Romeo who is in love. Romeo didn't do anything wrong. He believed in true love. He believed in the power of love, and he would sacrifice himself for love. Granted, Romeo's story ended pretty tragically, of course, we all know, but his story is his story. That doesn't apply to all of us. Pisces gets the worst reputation, and we are all under the influence of Pisces. But now, Pisces rules our spirituality. It rules how good life can get. And when you hear on the internet and when you see on the internet, okay, Pisces energy is here. It's Pisces season. Oh my God, we're definitely going to feel this. This is going to suck. Pisces oceans are so deep and so whatever. It's just like, you know what? You're doing everyone a disservice because there's so much that is to gain from Pisces season. And if you and especially when it comes to those who are working on healing themselves, and when they are finally, you have like the signs up until this point. If there is a moment in history, if there is a moment within our chart that we should focus on our healing and putting a salve on the wounded spot within our subconscious mind, when the planets move into Pisces, this is the time to allow your emotional self, your subconscious self, your spiritual self to get deep, deep healing. And when people say, okay, Pisces stirs up these feelings and my intuition and you know, these things that it's like, I don't have time for this. You have to have time. If you don't have time for your own personal healing, something is wrong. That your priorities are off. If you don't have time for connecting with what your soul has been trying to tell you since forever, your priorities are off. And you need to be very aware of who and what you are watching and listening to when it comes to talking about the signs and intuitive messages, because we take these messages and we see them very seriously. Like, we take them very seriously and we look for guidance. But watch the energy of the person who is interpreting it. Is it positive? Is it constructive? Does it make sense? Does it feel good? Even if the message itself is not roses and isn't painted, like, if it's not like, doesn't initially doesn't seem like it's the best thing, you can take anything that's going on. You can take anything that is like bad, anything that is difficult, and the right person can show you that there is potential within the difficult moments in our lives. And some people take advantage of that. And it's sad. But That's my own bone to pick. So that's on my own piece that I wanted to say here too. Mercury rules communication, rules our thoughts, our mind. Mercury needs, and the other thing too, people say all the time, Mercury gets lost in the energy of Pisces, and that's very true. Mercury sometimes does get lost in Pisces because Mercury sometimes wants to shoot forward, and Pisces is this glittering cloud of fog. But not everything is logic. Not everything is a straight shot. Sometimes you need to rely on something bigger than what can be explained. And when Mercury, which is now moving through the sign of Pisces, moves to the sign of Pisces, this is the time when you now need to step back and feel. And to not see with your eyes, but see with the third eye. See with your senses. You know what I mean? So how we normally kind of like logically move, now we need to rely on a different... Hi, Baba. What's going on? Are you scared? Was there thunder? What's going on? I'm sorry. I think he's scared, you guys. So sometimes our senses, we get so used to using a certain sense or logic that we rely on it so heavily that we ignore the other senses. And that's something else that it was that I was seeing, which it's like we need boundary, we need space, and we need to be aware. We need to seek the truth. We need to seek clarity. Granted, Mercury moving through the sign of Pisces does not paint a picture of the clearest glass. But it's not meant to be clear for you. You're not meant to look at it and immediately recognize it. You're meant to feel it. You're meant to think. You're meant to process it. You're meant to be intuitive. You're meant to follow your senses, your heightened senses. Remember, Pisces levels everything up. We're human beings operating from this level. Pisces says, come from the human level and come to a spiritual level. Meet your guides and your angels here. Don't meet them here. This is low base human like level working. This is like robotic ... I follow the rules because this is what I'm told to do. This is the information that is given to me. I'm getting intuitive hunches and messages all the time, but I can't allow myself to follow them because every time when I search for confirmation of the feeling that it is that I'm getting, I can't find that on the internet. I can't find that on a blog. So because I haven't had validation from another person's Instagram or another person's blog or another like on Google, I'm not going to follow that advice. That's a mistake. Pisces says Mercury moving through the sign of Pisces says do not stay in a space of logic and explanation. Look to your other senses. There is more to this that meets the eye, and you're doing yourself such a strong disservice by relying so heavily. And I'm on Instagram. I make intuitive messages every day, you guys. I pull cards and I channel information to share with you guys every day. And I'm the one telling you right now to be very aware of who it is that you look to for advice and to rely on yourself when it comes to listening to your intuition and your own divine messages that are coming through. Is it okay to ask for guidance? Absolutely. But to seek for validation from others that are not living your truth is a mistake. You have to follow yourself. And I'm the person who I'm one of the people on Instagram that pulls messages for everyone. That's not to say that I have bad intentions towards anyone. I don't. I share my messages how I receive them, but be very, very careful about who it is and what it is and how you're taking that message. If your guides are telling you and your angels are telling you something specific, and if they're guiding you towards something, follow that. I love you guys. Like, I love you guys so much. And it's like, I at the end of the day, like, I say this over and over and over again, like, I want to do what is best for everyone. And also myself. And some things I are difficult to say, and some things it's like seem so intuitive, like, or counterproductive or whatever, but it's not for me to decide. It's not for me to judge. I'm just here as a messenger, like, legit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm reading you guys' comments. That's why I'm taking a break. Shira says, this is all I needed to hear. Sometimes I look for confirmation because everything seems so crazy and it's hard to believe it. And yet it's still happening. You know what? I always say angels and guides, the angels, the guides, whether you believe them or not, they exist. I talked about, like, angels that came up to me and guides that came up, and even spirit, people who've passed on. They are so patient and, like, considerate and understanding and quiet. And humans, us, we try to force stuff sometimes. Like, we really do. And, like, it makes me so sad because I think when we, like, pass on and we move on to the next level, we enter into the space of just supreme understanding. And we realize, like, any spirit, any guide, anyone who has ever passed on, whoever's come to me, has always been in a space of just, like, it's okay. Like, it's good. Like, we force things so much. And it's just, like, easy and effortless on the opposite side. And, like, and this is in response to Chira. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, my love. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But we do look for confirmation, and we look for signs and signals. And when we don't understand it immediately, we get so frustrated. And it's like, if you could sit with it with yourself, and if you sit with your guides, and when they do show up, they are so patient, and they're just like, they're like, stop. It's always like, stop forcing it. Like, stop forcing it. Like, would you just give up? Like, and that's not me saying it to you. Like, I get it. In my own life, I do it. But they always say, it's like, give up. You're tired. Give up. Like, give up. Give it to us. Let us do it. You know, if we told you this is the message that we're telling you. You know this isn't right for you. And you know this doesn't feel good. Even if it's something as simple as food or a relationship or a job or a career. It's so hard because as humans, we don't know what's ahead of us. And we just struggle so hard with trusting and letting go. And when the angels and the guides show up, they're like, let go. Like, give it to us. Give it to us. Trust us. Have we ever done anything to fuck you up? Yeah. What essential oils, Cam Rena says, what essential oils would you gravitate towards in this moment? Mugwort is something that I feel, this is Cam Rena asking this question, so. Mugwort is something that stands out to me. Lavender, interestingly enough, the herb and the essential oil. Lemongrass, huge for protection right now. Sometimes you can use lemongrass in order to attract things into your life, which I use it all the time for that. And also purifying your space, so attracting positive things in powerfully. But I see lemongrass right now as protection, and that's something that we need so badly right now. Why? Like, I don't understand. I'm sorry. Even as I'm doing this, I'm still trying to like receive, I guess, messages and give it, because I know that I was supposed to come on here and talk more about Astro Chat, which we do every Monday, but it also feels like I should be talking about this type of stuff, and I'm open to that. The biggest thing too that I'm feeling is when it comes to protection is like spirituality and like your sacred space. That sounds so cliche, but it really is taking some time for yourself. And really what it is that I'm seeing actually is kind of like a box. And this box that it is that it's not like it's like this like designated area that is for prayer and meditation and release and letting go and becoming vulnerable and for healing. And it doesn't have to look or be anything elaborate. It's yours. And it's your space to, as soon as you go into the space, you are in a spot of, I am safe here, I can let go. As soon as you enter into the space, it's open communication from your heart. And that's the other thing too that I feel for a lot of us is sacral chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra. It's built and it's pent up here in the sacral chakra, and it's blockage, and it needs to be released. It's creative expression. It's creative letting go. It comes up in my heart. My heart gets triggered. I need to release it. I need to let it go. I need to cry it out. I need to express it. Throat chakra, expressing it, letting it go, talking about it, communicating it, finally moving forward, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, release, 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 release. And it's all in this space. And literally no one can come into this space. No one can infringe in this space. This is divine. When I am here in this space, it is divine. That's what it is that I'm seeing. Like, I know you guys think I'm crazy, but this is what it looks like when I do readings. Sorry. This is what it looks like. It's not, like, pretty or perfect or whatever the case may be. But really what it is that I'm seeing is, like, for me personally, my own sacred space is this rug, and I got it for like $7 at Marshall's or Ross or TJ Maxx or whatever the case may be. Oh my God, I'm like feeling so much right now. I don't know if this is like Pisces or whatever, but it is what it is. I just feel like people need to freaking release. Like, I feel like people need to release. I know I'm like this, everyone gets like concerned. My mom, I do readings for her all the time, and she always gets so concerned with me when I get like this, but I just feel like people need to like let stuff go, and it just builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and like there's like lack of trust, there's fear, there's I need to force it, I need to figure it out, I need to fight it, I need to understand what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen, what's ahead of me, what's for the future. And it's like all of these like what if, and in reality it's like let it go, let God. When you set intentions, when you know what it is that you want, you also have to understand that it's like what it is that you want is given to you by God. You're not asking too much by asking for the things of your heart. You're meant to ask for the things that it is that you want. And by asking for them, you allow the angels to come in and do it. The angels can't do that if you don't ask. They don't move until you allow them the space to move. I hope that makes sense. I wasn't expecting our reading to come out like this, you guys, but I just feel so much right now, like when it comes to like, and it's not me, it's just, I don't know if there's like people in here. I'm not really reading anybody's comments because I was working with my energy and stuff like that. But it makes sense with the message that I was receiving before when it comes to boundaries and space and sacred space and making time for yourself. I actually feel better now that I said it too and like shared that. I feel like someone needed to hear that, so that's really good. Glam Bosnia says, so true, why am I emotional? I know, girl. Me too. And it's not me. I'm actually in a good space in my life right now, but and the other thing is that, you know, I want to explain myself too just a little bit. And I know, okay, Astro chat, you know, but if we're going to do this anytime, it's going to be now. And again, this is because Pisces is so next level. But this is what it looks like actually when we're doing readings, or when I'm working readings, and when I receive messages and stuff like that. I'm saying this because I don't want anybody to be concerned for me. A lot of times when I'm working with my clients or working with a friend or a family and I'm receiving messages for them, I will start bawling my eyes out. And it's like I'm crying the weight of the world. And they get so concerned and they feel so guilty and they feel so ashamed that I'm crying so hard because they're like, I made Jess upset. You have to understand too that it's not me that's upset. In that moment, I feel the emotion, but it's not I who is feeling the emotion. It's me processing what it is that I'm feeling. So if someone has a cold on here, in the past, like when I've done readings, live readings, especially during Periscope times, I opened myself up a lot more, and I would I would get like coughing and stuff like that. If someone would say something, and then I would be like, something's going on with your throat and your chest, and then that person would just be like, oh my God, I had the flu. So it's like in that moment, I feel it. So I don't want anyone to be concerned and be like, oh my God, Jess, like Jess, there's something going on with Jess. I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a really good spot right now in my life. There are messages that are coming through, but it's nothing to be concerned about. And again, I come on here in order to share these things with you. I always want to be authentic, 100% real. I don't want to paint pictures, even if it makes me look better on Instagram. I'm not the best when it comes to working social media. Across the board, all I have working for me is my truth and my voice, and I just tell the truth. And if that dies away and if that goes away, then I had a really good run, and it was really nice, to be here, and I'll never regret it. I'll never forget it. But at the end of the day, like, there's a reason for me being here now, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for it. So again, Instagram's telling me like I have to wrap it up. When it comes to Astro Chat, I guess I will make a video for it later tomorrow, and post it up on YouTube, going over the details. I did write about a blog on it, but more than anything, I feel like we should have heard this message today. I feel like it was meant to be shared, and I don't regret deviating away from Astro Chat in order to share that message with you guys. And I'm so glad that Kingy was here with us while we did it. Something must have spooked him because he's here now too. D Legendary says, please don't be emotional. I'm good, you guys. Like, seriously, I'm so good. I'm going to go back and read you guys' comments and take a moment to ground myself. Don't be concerned for me. Please, please, please. This is what it looks like. Like, honestly, this is what our process looks like. I know sometimes it, like, makes people feel sad or makes people cry or whatever, but literally, like, I'm going to, Chris, Ella, get it? Chris, under my Chris, Ella says go sage now. I am gonna go sage. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm so grateful. Yes, Lucille Clifton says, can you save this on live? Absolutely. And I put them on my YouTube afterwards. Most of my channel messages, I put them on YouTube. For you guys, and you can just quickly search BehatiLife if you want that. All right, I love you. Bye. Say bye, Kingy. He's standing guard always.